In this video, we are going to configure Layer 3 Etherchannel on Cisco switches. And if you're new to the channel, this is just one of many videos on the GNS3 labs for the CCNA certification. So if that interests you, you should subscribe and check out the rest of those videos in the playlist as well. And before we dive into the configuration of Layer 3 Etherchannel, we're first going to very briefly describe what Etherchannel is. We did a lot of that in the previous video just prior to this, so we're not going to go into it as deeply as we did there, but we are briefly going to touch on it. Then we're going to look at the difference between Layer 2 and Layer 3 Etherchannel. Then we're going to look at the Layer 3 Etherchannel configuration order of operations. And then we're going to go to GNS3 and do a Layer 3 Etherchannel configuration demonstration. First off, what is Etherchannel? It's a technique for aggregating the bandwidth of physical links together. The benefits you get is you utilize more of the bandwidth. More of the links are going to be used for forwarding rather than many of them being blocked by spanning tree. And you also get more redundancy. For example, if you have 4 links in a bundle and you lose one of them, then you still have 3 other links to use for forwarding, whereas if you only have 1 link and you lose that 1 link, well, then you have nothing. And just real quick, this is a physical versus a logical view. If you had 2 links, the top view being the physical view if you had 2 physical links bundled together in an ether channel, and then the bottom view is the logical view, whereas to the switches, it appears that there is just 1 link between both of them. And the difference between Layer 2 and Layer 3 Etherchannel is that Layer 3 utilizes Layer 3 links as members, whereas Layer 2 Etherchannel utilizes Layer 2 links. Either they can be all access or all trunk links, but they cannot be Layer 3. You also configure an IP address to the port channel interface for Layer 3 Etherchannel, and because it has an IP address, it can utilize ARP and participate in the routing process. All right, so the order of operations is critical for successfully configuring Layer 3 Etherchannel, and really that goes for Layer 2 as well. There's just a couple more steps in Layer 3, which means that misconfiguration for Layer 3 is a little more common. So step 1, you want to make sure that all of the member ports are shut down. Then step 2, you want to make sure that all of the member ports have the same configuration. And then step 3, you want to use the channel group command to declare a channel number and the mode on the member interfaces. And step 4, you want to configure the port channel interface, which in our case is just going to be an IP address, but you can put any other configuration that you would put on a normal Layer 3 interface. And then step 5, you want to no shut the ports, and that includes the member ports as well as the port channel interface itself. Now I've got GNS3 pulled up, and we are going to build a new lab from scratch here. One very important thing that I just went through and learned is that you have to be using the correct viral image in order to get Layer 3 Etherchannel to fully function. And the one that you want to get, I've got it exactly over here, and I'm going to have this as well as the configuration in the description of the video, so that way you can at least match it to what works at the time that I'm making this video. So this is the name of the file that I have that I used to import the device, and then once it's in GNS3 and imported, that's what it looks like there. All right, and I got that from right-clicking on that and then going to HDDD, and then you get the disk image. So that's what that looks like there. And again, I'll have this in the link description so you can match that as well. And at least from my experience, this is the only way to get the Layer 3 Etherchannel functioning. All right, so I'm just going to drag and drop 2 devices on. Now I'm going to create 4 links between the 2 devices, and then we're going to put the configuration in. All right, now I'm going to power on and open up the consoles. All right, so now our devices are booted up, and we're going to put the configuration in. And first, we're going to declare the host name. And I've got the steps here. So the first step is shutting down the interfaces, then conforming config, then adding all of the individual ports to a channel and declaring the mode. And so really, we're going to use the range command and perform those first 3 steps really in one fell swoop here. With that, then we're going to add the IP address to the port channel interface. And then once we're done with that, we will no shut all of the interfaces and bring it back up. And hopefully we will have a functioning Layer 3 Etherchannel. All right, so now we're going to no shut the interfaces. All right, so both of our switches are saying that we have routed Etherchannel and it is up in use, including all of the ports that we want. Or we can see that everything is in the up state that we want it to be. Now we've got our ping commands for the moment of truth. All right, so there it's just pinging itself, which it should obviously be able to do. And we have success. And then switch 2, pinging switch 1. All right, that's success as well. And then now, since we can do that, our ARP tables should be populated correctly, and they are. So we have an IP address and a corresponding MAC address for both the IP addresses in here. And then we can also look at the routing table, so do show IP route. And we can see that the .1 and the network are directly connected on port channel 1. All right, so that concludes this video. We went through layer 3 Etherchannel configuration. We have the steps right here. Also remember that you need to be using a specific viral image if you want to get this to work. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot to touch on at the time, if you had any pre-existing configuration on the interfaces that you're going to use for port channel, you want to default those interfaces. I didn't do it because I knew that I was using brand new devices, so I knew that the configuration was going to be the default. And so for example, if you had a pre-existing port channel and you just wanted to blow it away, you would first need to delete the interface of the port channel, then default the interfaces, and then you could basically start with what we have here. If you found this helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.